Welcome to the Streetport Connection with Tommy. This video is on your Smackdown spoilers and your WWE main event results. Well, first off, we got what happened after Monday Night Raw Dark Match main event in Washington D.C. Bray Wyatt took a quick dip in a pool of slop that was set up. But he's had to say, yeah, the same one that Vicky Guerrero and Stephanie McMahon was supposed to wrestle in, and I'll show you a photo of that. After Monday Night Raw ended from Washington D.C., John Cena, Sheamus, Roman Reigns, and Cesaro were left in the ring as Randy Orton and Bray Wyatt tried to attack them. But the babyfaces fought them off and hit some of their finishers and sent the crowd home happy. Somehow Bray ended up getting in the pool of slop. It was noted by more than one fan in attendance at Monday Night Raw. But there was almost no reaction when WWE showed the graphics of Daniel Bryan being in the pre-show for Money in the Bank. Drew McIntyre will be returning to Scotland for a British Championship Wrestling show and a WrestleZone Scotland show in August. He will work for BCW on August 29th in Kilmarnock and for WZS in Aberdeen the next night. Happy birthday from the 24th. Goes to Puerto Rican star Chicky Star, turned 56. Former WWF and WCW wrestler Tommy Zeus Lister, turned 56. Five-time NWA World Champion Adam Pearce, turned 36. And hardcore indie star Madman Pondo, turned 45. And the 24th is also the same day that the Benoit family. Just for those that remember that, what they call it, the triple murder suicide. Also, would have been the birthday of two-time Mexican national team champion Angel Azteca. Would have been 51, and former NWA and WWC regular Don Kent, 81. Happy birthday today on June 25th to former WWF wrestler Damian Demento, turned 56. One-time WWE Divas and Women's champion Layla, turned 37. Former TNA wrestler Mark Haskins, turned 26, and one-time IW Larry Shipley, better known as Larry Nelson, the former announcer from AWA, passed away yesterday after battling pancreatic cancer. Renzo Nelson had said about 2 weeks back that he only had a few weeks left to live anyways. And my condolences go to him and his family. Nelson announced that was announcing from mid to late 80s for Vern Gagne's AWA. During the last 2 years of promotion in 2000, Nelson wrote an autobiography called Stranglehold, focusing on his time in wrestling. Tonight's WWE main event and Smackdown tapings took place from the Console Energy in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Confirmed for the main event was Rob Van Dam, Dolph Ziggler, and Kofi Kingston versus Bad News Barrett, Seth Rollins, and Jack Swagger. And confirmed for Smackdown was Bray Wyatt versus Sheamus, plus Roman Reigns in action with a mystery opponent. It turned out to be Kane. As seen on last night's Raw, Bo Dallas was sporting a black eye. The shot reportedly came from Rob Van Dam kicked him during the June 16th Raw Battle Royal. As PW Mania reported, Bret Hart will be appearing on July the 7th. Raw from Montreal, Bray may also be working the SmackDown tapings that week as well. Former WWE star Chris Nowinski will be speaking before the United States Senate tomorrow to discuss the long-term impact of sports-related brain injuries. Nowinski and his people will appear before the U.S. Senate Special Committee on Aging that will explore brain injuries and the connection to neurological disease later in life. NXT star Slate Randall is currently out of action with a concussion. As noted, Corey Graves is also out with his second concussion as well. Stone Cold's new interview can be listed here with Vince Russo. It's now online. It can be heard on Podcast One. WWE Hall of Famer Harley Race recently appeared on In Your Head Wrestling Radio and was asked about his thoughts on Hulk Hogan as wrestler, as he replied, well, no matter how you want to word it or how you want to say it, if you're good enough to get to all the places that Hogan was, and you've got to be the way the hell above average, Hogan gets good and bad raps virtually on a daily basis, but the end product was he was who he was, and he would not have gotten there gotten where he if he were incapable of handling the process of getting there and had only once after he was there. For what it's worth, Daniel Bryan is advertised for the July 6th WWE live event in Kingston, Ontario, but obviously cards are subject to change. Jinder Mahal is now going by the name of Raj Singh on the indie scene and is taking bookings through Bill Barron's at Showbiz at AOL.com. Miami Herald, I'll post this link, has an article about WWE ring announcer Justin Roberts. His hands go to massage tool at this link. Rob Van Dam recently spoke with Donald Wood and the folks at Ring Rust Radio. And there's a link for that. He spoke about, I'll go through some of the highlights. He spoke from Mike Chiari. Since returning to WWE for your latest stint in that you've had an opportunity to work with some of the company's fastest rising stars. Specifically, Cesaro and Bandit Barrett. As a veteran performer, do you pride in helping some of these younger stars get over and reach their full potential? Brian does yet says yes and no. I place no focus on that. If somebody is willing to take some advice, then I have some. And that's just life in general. A lot of people don't want to hear anything. These guys and everybody at WWE right now is so good that the standard of the pro wrestler compared to maybe 10 years ago, night and day difference. I came back last year and I was so impressed. Guys that come up now through NXT, a lot of them, maybe most of them, seem to be growing up in the business and with only 4 or 5 years experience. They're all already 10 to 12 years veterans. I'm more happy with the caliber rising, and I can still get in there with my style and have the ability to still be relevant for the new age of wrestling. The wrestlers coming up just like it was back then. So, are they getting a rub from wrestling with me? Probably so. But these guys, I don't feel like they need me. They have a great future and are heading to the top with or without wrestling Rob Van Dam. They just might have a few more bruises after wrestling me. As you can hear that in the video. And Mark Chiari says, you obviously have a long history with Paul Heyman dating back to ECW. If you once again had an opportunity to work with him during your feud with Cesaro, if a situation were to arise at some point that would allow you to join forces with Heyman again, is that something you might be interested in? Well, it is possibly. There's a lot of factors to consider. Of course, whenever I'm working with him, to any degree, I have to consider the possibility that some writers might be thinking of that idea just like you are. I would be open to considering anything, but I really do enjoy being a fan favorite. Someone that gets the positive energy from the fans and all the love from those who are wrestling fans. Guys my age, kids, women, whatever. I like that. I have that appeal and I like the love. That would be something, even with the parameters of entertainment, switching to bad guy, that those guys would put up with all the negative energy that would occur if I were to switch. That would be something that has to value me. But besides that, of course I'd love to work with Paul. Brandon Galvin has a question. You've always been one of those most exciting and unique wrestlers in and out of the ring, which makes it difficult for fans to ever boo you. However, have you ever thought about playing the role of a villain again? Or do you think your in-ring style would make it too difficult for the fans to turn on you? Paul Van Dam replies, I don't know. I actually started as a bad guy in the original ECW back in 1996. But because I was wrestling Taboo, who all those fans loved and treated like a god with the thumbs pointing at myself, that was done in an arrogant manner to draw heat from the crowd, and they seemed to love it. They seemed to love my moves. I don't know if my style makes it hard to get fans not to appreciate me, but I do think the traditional hero is something that is old-fashioned in somewhere like the Deep South. I remember wrestling in Georgia as a good guy. To get the audience behind me, you just walk out and clap your hands. You get the fans to clap with you, and you smile. When I first went to Philadelphia, if I tried that stuff up there, they would boo me out the door, just like they do John Cena. So, well, he didn't say just like John Cena, as you can hear in the interview. So that kind of anti-hero, or what more adult approach, has taken over. The Attitude Era, WCW, ECW, everything together has to make wrestling not so old-fashioned, which I could say was cheesy by my standards, and I had to evolve. Point out that the fans tend to be drawn more towards what they find entertaining, which is subjective. And then Mike Cherry says, you face most of the top stars in the business over the past 2 decades. But who is someone you either haven't wrestled at all or have only wrestled sparingly that you'd like to work in an extended program against WWE? And Rob Van Dam said, well, of course, Hulk Hogan. Bring Hogan back. I want to work with him. I don't really worry about those things when people ask me about guys. I don't say yes or no, but I go where the money is. Any chance I have to be a main event at a pay-per-view, like main eventing WrestleMania, is that important to me at this point? It's something that would be really nice. Happy birthday again. I think I did that one. Oh, happy birthday is on 6/24. Puerto Rican Star, yeah, I think I did that one. 56. Tommy Zybisco, 56. 5-time NWA Adam Pearce, 46. Indy Star Mad Mountain Man Pondo, 45. Also, the living legend, Larry Zybisco, recently spoke with an In Your Head Wrestling Radio and talked about his involvement with NXT. Well, you know, I've been a big fan of NXT. They film it 5 miles down the road from where I live. I've been going down, and that was a big mistake because now I'm emotionally involved and entangled in all these new guys, talent that's training there. They have the same dream I had. You see it in their face. They want to learn. It's really a cool place. It's kind of like an omen to me that they would just happen to build this thing 5 miles down from my house. There's really not too many left in the business that know what I know. So it's working out good where I'm going to be involved. When I go down there and I get a chance to pass down the hidden secrets of wrestling Illuminati to a new era. So it's really cool. There's a trick to it. You've got a whole bunch of big tough guys, but unless you figure out a way to be different with wrestling, like any other sport, the fans get emotionally. You get into their emotions. That's the secret. But they have to be taught because they're great athletes and have a great training facility, and they're learning moves and becoming wrestlers, and that's great. But to attach to the fans, you have to be a personality, and you have to be able to grab that microphone and talk to people and let your character loose and be creative. It's a different story. Any idiot can pick up someone and throw them in, but drawing money is a different animal. Roman Reigns recently spoke with Mike Jones of DC 101 to promote Raw, and here are the highlights from that. Should Raw and Smackdown be split again? It worked before, didn't it? And I think that dynamic too, it adds to the storylines and the competition and things like that. And I think there is a whole pay-per-view called Bragging Rights just based on that concept. So I think it does work. If they're going to do it, who knows? WWE Money in the Bank title ladder match, he comments on, with this story, we're trying to climb. I've obviously worked with ladders and sticks and all these different toys, but climbing the ladder and being 10 feet in the air, that's a whole different story. And like I said, I'm not a top rope guy, but at the same time, you can take advantage of the ladder, use it to your advantage, but when it comes down to it, you have to climb. going to be interesting. I'm prepared. I just don't care. If you ever looked at my Twitter, you've seen my back pain. Who cares? Daniel Bryan's, he comments on Daniel Bryan's recovery. I've heard through the grapevine and the boys and stuff that he's doing a lot better. He's at home, and I guess obviously Bree's helping him out a good bit, which is really cool and on her behalf to put her career on the side to make sure her husband is fine. I wish him the most comfortable and speedy recovery. Apparently, WWE has won a battle against CM Punk lately. WWE has emerged victorious in its battle against CM Punk. They have looked every bit the victor as Punk has looked indifferent. While we may never know what led to Punk walking out before WrestleMania season, like Bad News Bound and Survivor Series match, we definitely saw how WWE has moved forward without him. In the court of public opinion and pages of IWC, Internet Wrestling Council, WWE was slandered by Punk fans for everything, while knowing nothing. Punk was defeated better than the Denver Broncos in this year's Super Bowl by fans who simply wouldn't accept him possibly being at fault. As the months have passed, WWE took the criticism and responded in the only way they knew how. They must go on. They gave the fans the WrestleMania main event moment of their dreams and dared them to not enjoy it. They rolled into Chicago twice and emerged unscathed by an audience that proved to be fighting a battle way above their weight class. They done everything but show a highlight reel of everything after the Royal Rumble with the words, "And you're still chanting for CM Punk" at the end of the video. While CM Punk could eventually return to fans that will welcome him with open arms, his exile will never be forgotten about. His single-handedly changed WWE's direction at its biggest show ever, WrestleMania 30, while pretty much disregarding what it meant to anyone else. And here are 7 reasons WWE won the battle against CM Punk. First, WrestleMania 30. Number 7, WrestleMania 30 was a classic without him. At WrestleMania 30, Daniel Bryan wrapped up the greatest storyline in ages by besting Triple H in the best opening contest since Bret vs. Owen, and winning the World Heavyweight Championship in the main event against Randy Orton and Batista. Bryan was able to reach the level that eluded Punk for so long. If Punk was watching, I guess he felt some type of way about this. John Cena and Bray Wyatt clashed in a hard-hitting contest. That was the opening chapter of their compelling feud. Cena stepping down to a mid-card at WrestleMania was the antithesis of what CM Punk did. Cena never really got credit for this, while folks defended a wrestler that wasn't even on the card. Paul Heyman's client, Brock Lesnar, conquered the streak, while the match wasn't what the fans had hoped for. Stylistically, a moment that will stand the test of time was created when the Undertaker's shoulders didn't come off the mat. Fans completely forgot about mocking or chanting CM Punk. The human in walked out. Other happenings included Cesaro's victory in the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal, the Shield's destruction of the Attitude Era, and the most epic start to a wrestlers in the company at the time was missing. CM Punk walking out gave birth one of the 3 best WrestleManias ever. Who would have guessed that stars and his athletes like guys like Cesaro, the Shield, the Wyatt family, and the Usos have all upped their game, and the fans have willingly thrown their support behind them. Even further down the roster, NXT is loaded with more prospects than ever. In all honesty, we could be on the verge of the biggest talent boom since WWE purchased WCW. It's all kind of like in baseball, where a team initially finds it tough to replace a big bat that is no longer with his team. At first, it's a struggle, but eventually they find value in other areas to replicate his success with the combo of other guys. If CM Punk comes back, he will have a host of new elevated opponents. If not, we'll continue to publish articles about him until he breaks down emotionally and announces return by touting. Number 5. History is written by the victors. The longer this glaring silence exists, WWE will be able to tell the story. History is written by the victors. Just look at how WWE describes WCW and ECW since their death. We've gotten rise and fall, DVDs about both companies. The only thing stopping CM Punk from getting one of those dedicated to him is this rumored good relationship with Vince McMahon. WWE has the ability to produce brainwashing propaganda. Just look at the promo videos for Triple H leading into WrestleMania. It would be the easy thing to lob a grenade saying, oh, Triple H really doesn't like CM Punk, so I'm sure he'll bury him. But no one really knows that for sure. Triple H on and off screen is committed to doing what's best for business. He laid down for Daniel Bryan, killed any argument that he buried people, and he's single-handedly spearheading the NXT movement. Blasting CM Punk could ruin his long-term value forever. And WWE likes money. And of course, even though the Remember storyline that they were downing Daniel Bryan, saying he's a B plus player, well, guess what? They're joining the B plus player in the battle for the cure for Connor thing, because that's their most recent charity. So, what may prove more effective than anything in silence? Long, debilitating, awkward silence. Eventually, the support of most fans will swing forward toward the WWE as long as they keep producing awesome television. As for Punk, his voice will only affect those that will listen to him. As he says, he's the voice of the voiceless. If he waits too long, that audience may diminish rapidly. WWE Payback, pay-per-view. Number 4, how WWE handled their trips to Chicago. Stop me if you read this back in March. The fans of Chicago are going to hijack Raw. They will chant CM Punk the entire night. They will boo everything. Well, it was a good plan until WWE sent out Paul Heyman for perhaps the most pressure moment of his career. He entered to CM Punk's Cult of Personality theme song and cut a truthful kayfabe interview that ended up being promotion for Brock Lesnar versus Undertaker. From that moment on, the crowd seemed subdued as WWE put on a pay-per-view quality event that included the Wyatt family facing the Shield, Daniel Bryan squaring off with Batista, and news was finally reaching the apex of the tag team division. Besides those stellar matchups, Sheamus defeated Christian, and Dolph Ziggler handled Alberto Del Rio. By the end of the night, Chicago crowd had been figuratively powerbombed by WWE's superior booking and how they attacked the CM Punk issue head on. The only time since was the next time that they went to Chicago 3 months later, where Stephanie McMahon proclaimed Chicago wants you to quit like CM Punk did with Daniel Bryan. And that same night featured what will go on as the Shield's final act as a trio, and then they claimed the absence of CM Punk. Daniel Bryan, title 2. Number 3, the yes moment made Punk expendable. After WrestleMania 29, CM Punk took 2 months off to recover from his long-time reign and WrestleMania performance. During this time, the genesis of the yes movement was happening. Each night, Daniel Bryan was bringing the noise to any match he was in and staking his claim as the best performer in the business. CM Punk would never get those 2 months back. SummerSlam 2013 was the last time we would see Daniel Bryan and CM Punk on an equal playing field. After his incredible match against Lesnar, Punk was shuffled into the feud with Curtis Axel, Ryback, and Paul Heyman that generally bored the audience pretty Punk pretty much knew it too, and it looked like he was slapping a 43-cent stamp on each match. Conversely, Daniel Bryan was participating in the greatest long-arching underdog story ever seen. No matter what happened, he was a shining star of each broadcast, although Punk would never admit it. He probably looked at Bryan's ascension and asked himself where he fit in the hierarchy of WWE. At best, he was number 3 face in the WWE, something that clearly didn't sit well with him. WWE gave Bryan the chance to shine in the main event of WrestleMania, and he pretty much scooped most of the fans that CM Punk abandoned. WWE found a new small indie guy that was nowhere near as tough to please. Once again, the only person that lost was CM Punk. Number 2, Radical Punk fans are still investing in WWE. CM Punk has one of the most radical fan bases ever, and for a good reason. CM Punk succeeded in a system that wasn't designed for him to rise to the top. Without question, he is one of the greatest wrestlers of all time. Along that journey, CM Punk garnered fans that would never abandon him, even as he did ridiculous things that any other wrestler would have gotten crucified for, such as the pipe bomb. He put his hands on fans, bladed on live television, and walked out the day after the Royal Rumble, but never once got questioned. CM Punk was always doing the right thing. Yeah, right. But as the Punk chants continue, it all proves that his fans are still spending money and time on WWE. If those fans really want to make a statement, they should try not watching. Something tells me doing that would have the same effect their chants are having. None at all. The next time you attend a live event, look for those people chanting for Punk and just glare at them. I'm betting they'll stop. CM Punk, leader, tough. CM Punk doesn't care to win. It's hard for CM Punk to win when he doesn't seem to care at all about it. Honestly, have we heard him refer to anything in wrestling in the last 6 months? CM Punk made his long-awaited return to Twitter after 5 months and was bombarded by fans who were annoyed with him tweeting about hockey. You almost have to wonder if Punk is trolling everyone on purpose. He's one of the least most self-aware people in wrestling history or wrestling industry. He claims he wants privacy, but goes on The Walking Dead. He shows up wearing hockey jerseys to a nationally televised playoff game. He'd rather answer a mascot than acknowledge millions of fans who worship the ground he walks on. CM Punk cares about CM Punk. The WWE has proved that what CM Punk said in his pipe bomb promo, he was just a spoke on the wheel, and the company would keep going. However, it was hard to know that they would succeed to this extent. CM Punk helped save WWE in 2011, but then never figured out what was next after he was tasked with not being the man. Those 2 months he took off after WrestleMania 29 was a preview of now, and it seems like WWE was prepared for it. At one point, there was plans for a Seth Rollins versus Dean Ambrose singles gimmick match at the Money in the Bank pay-per-view, but that was nixed when they decided to go with the second ladder match. Oh, well, that concludes the 7 reasons for Punk. Word now is that the big Rollins versus Ambrose match may not take place until SummerSlam. No word yet on what that could mean for the two at July's Battleground pay-per-view. Word that WWE has been aggressively pursuing more buildings to acquire in the Orlando area, and has said that the company wants more space as close to the Performance Center as they can get, with the continued rumors of a physical Hall of Fame. This could be part of that expansion. Another reason for more space is that Triple H has reportedly spent a lot of time scouting some NFL training facilities and wants to use some of their concepts into the WWE developmental, but WWE needs a lot more space for that. The plan right now is for WWE to set up 2 or 3 more buildings in the Orlando area. According to a source, WWE has been trying to keep it quiet, feeling it will only drive up the price if it's known that they're shopping for more buildings. WWE is reportedly trying to quell this by having dummy corporations acquire the spaces. WWE superstar Jimmy Uso recently spoke with Chuck Carroll for 106.7, The Fan in Washington, D.C. to promote Money in the Bank pay-per-view. Uso revealed that he and Naomi really were busted having relations on the luxury bus during the filming of Total Divas, and that was not scripted as part of the show. As he said, I couldn't hold out any longer. They called us flat out. He also confirmed that filming for the show's third season began 2 weeks ago. Regarding wrestling, he talked about his desire to have a successful singles run, and Jimmy said he would love to try it, but only if his brother was also able to succeed as well. Vince Russo was active on Twitter during Raw last night. Here are some of the highlights of what he was saying. Quote, these divas just don't seem as well schooled as many as I've seen in the past, unquote. Quote, when any they are, and that isn't good for them, unquote. Quote, does anybody really care today if somebody says our government is pathetic? That's a babyface pop, unquote. Another quote, why wasn't his entrance last? Are you kidding? That is just bad. No other way to put it. An entrance after him. Bad, bad, bad. Please let me book this guy. Unquote. And the last, we had two more. Quote, having Bray Wyatt out there makes him look like everybody else. They would have never put Taker in that kind of back in the day. That tells you that they have no idea what they have with Bray. He's a special talent. Look at him on the apron. He doesn't even know how to react. Put in that position. Hashtag unprotected, unquote. And his last quote, they wanted the announcer to say, what is this? When we've seen Kane's entrance for more than 20 years, 6 billion times, unquote. Remember, I'll tell y'all a couple of videos back. Devon Nicholson sued WWE Hall of Famer Abdullah the Butcher for $2.3 million after Nicholson claimed that Abdullah had given him hepatitis C when he bladed in 2007 match with Nicholson's consent. Well, this led to Nicholson claiming that he lost a WWE developmental deal because that he had the disease. Well, Nicholson has now announced that last year he had been cured. Nicholson told the Ottawa Community News last week that he has returned to the ring back in May and will be getting a tryout with WWE on July 18th in Iowa. Well, there are no Iowa WWE events that weekend, but the Pro Wrestling Hall of Fame is going on, and WWE's Gerald Briscoe will be hosting a talent seminar that Friday afternoon in Waterloo, Iowa. So I guess that's what he's talking about or referring to. And so we may have an individual tryout with Briscoe scheduled. WWE and John Cena received the following sports social TV awards this past week. Best social event, WrestleMania 29. Goes to WWE. Best social commerce or marketing program, WWE. So, the social TV sports entertainer of the year goes to John Cena. The dark match before tonight's main event tapings in Pittsburgh saw Adam Rose defeat Heath Slater in a back-and-forth match. While both superstars got a pop from the crowd, Slater's reaction was bigger than Rose's. According to multiple correspondents at tonight's Smackdown tapings in Pittsburgh, Intercontinental Champion Bad News Barrett suffered what appears to be a shoulder injury. Yeah, a shoulder injury, possibly a separated shoulder, and it's confirmed later on. And I will just tell you what has happened. After his match with Dean Ambrose, there was a post-match segment where Barrett went down and clutched his shoulder after being thrown into the barricade by Jack Swagger. The referee supposedly threw up an X symbol and brought out the WWE medics who helped Barrett to the back. Fans heard Barrett repeating F-bombs on his way to the back. We've also learned that Swagger may have been involved in the injury that Barrett took a hard fall to the floor on the shoulder. As conflicting reporters were saying whether or not the referee actually threw up the X sign, and if Barrett was helped to the back by medics, but our correspondents agreed that he was clearly in pain. Well, if you're in pain, you're going to do something explicit. And confirmed by WWE's website, confirmed that Intercontinental Champion Barrett Barrett suffered a shoulder injury during the Smackdown tapings in Pittsburgh. Physician Chris Aman spoke to WWE's website and said Barrett sustained an injury to his right shoulder when he was thrown into a barricade by Jack Swagger. After Barrett felt an immediate pain and pop, continued as Aman said, we brought him back to the training room and the exam showed a separated shoulder. We're going to do some additional testing this week and sit down with him and talk about options for treatment for this injury. And there's no decision that has been made yet regarding Barrett's participation in Money Bank. Either they'll check him out and put somebody in a spot, or let's see what happens before then. The dark match before tonight's Smackdown taping saw Cody Rhodes and Goldust defeat NXT Tag Team Champions The Ascension when Goldust pinned Victor. Don't know if it's Stardust or just plain Cody. Because all they said was Cody Rhodes. Tonight's main event opened up from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania with Tom Phillips and Byron Saxton in commentary. They announced Renee Young will interview Roman Reigns later on tonight. We go to the ring, Dolph Ziggler sitting up on top of the ladder. Ziggler talks about how grabbing the briefcase changes his life. He says he knows because it has happened to him 2 years ago and it's the greatest moment in his career. Ziggler talks about becoming the World Heavyweight Champion and let's go Ziggler chant and unknown from the report. RVD makes his way to the ring followed by Kofi. Jeff Coulter and Jack Swagger are out first for their team. The ring and the ramp are surrounded by ladders. The Intercontinental Champion, Thaddeus Barrett, is out next by Seth Rollins. So there's a missing person report. Swagger and Kofi started the match. They go back and forth until Kofi catapults Swagger and kicks him in the face. Ziggler tagged in and dropped a big elbow for a 2 count. Ziggler nailed a drop kick for another pin attempt. Barrett tagged in and they double team Ziggler in the corner. Barrett with a suplex for a 2 count. Ziggler counters and tags in RVD. RVD clotheslines Barrett twice and unloads with kicks. RVD nails Rolling Thunder for a 2 count. Barrett ends up sending RVD to the floor as we go to commercial. Back from the break, Rollins is in now. Only guess it's not on commentary. He nails the 3 suplexes on RVD for a 2 count. Swagger tags in and they beat RVD down in the corner. Swagger with a big slam. Goes for the Swagger bomb and nails it for a 2 count. RVD fought out of a hold and tried to tag, but Swagger rammed him back into the corner and tagged in Barrett. Barrett with a neck breaker for a 2. Barrett stomps on RVD in the corner as the fans rally for RVD. Barrett with big knees on the ropes. Barrett knocks RVD off the apron with a big boot for a 2 count. Swagger tags back in and they keep RVD down. RVD finally tags in Kofi. And he springboards in on Rollins. Kofi unloads on Rollins and then drop kicks him. Kofi nails the boom drop. Rollins dodges trouble in paradise and turns around for a second. More back and forth action as Kofi nails SOS for a 2 count. And then Swagger and Barrett break the pin. Ziggler sends Swagger and himself out as RVD tosses Barrett to the floor. Rollins tosses RVD to the floor. Kofi and Rollins trade pins. Pin attempts as Rollins nails the curve stomp for the win. After the match, Swagger got the Patriot lock on Ziggler while Barrett nailed RVD with a ladder. Ziggler fought off and dropped Swagger, but hit him with the ladder off the apron. Barrett turned on Swagger, laid him out with a bullhammer. We get a replay of Summer Rae and Fandango on Smackdown. Fandango approaches Layla backstage now and has a flower for her, but she's upset. Fandango says Layla is the only one that's ever danced her way into his heart and will always be his one and only dance partner. They have a long kiss for the camera. Get a replay of Vicky Guerrero's farewell speech on Raw. Farewell on Raw. Fandango versus Bo Dallas. Fandango and Layla make their way out as we go to commercial. Back from the break, Bo Dallas makes his way out. Before they can get going, Summer Rae comes out and cat fights with Layla and in and out of the ring. Referees finally separate them, but they strap some more on the ramp. Fandango comes in the ring and catches a running bulldog for a squash. Bo leave wins the match. After the match, Bo says women are interesting creatures, but they will work it out if they just leave. Still to come, Roman Reigns interview, more network commercials. Ryback and Curtis Axel versus Xavier Woods and R-Truth. R-Truth and Xavier Woods are out first for good truth rapping. Ryback and Curtis Axel were out next. Truth and Ryback start the match. Woods tags in and unloads on Ryback. Ryback misses the clothesline and eats some more kicks. Ryback catches Woods in midair and nails a big power slam for a 2. Ryback with a big suplex and a knee drop. Axel tags in and they double team Woods. Axel keeps control and hits the running knee to the head for a 2 count. Woods popped out of a headlock. Wood got slammed back down. Ryback tagged in for some more offense on Woods. Truth finally is tagged in and unloads on Axel. Truth with a big jawbreaker for a 2 count. Truth with a splash in the corner, and a big DDT for another 2 count as Ryback broke the pin. Xavier fought Ryback off and got jumped to the floor. Truth took out Ryback. Truth misses a splash. Misses a splash on Ryback in the corner, and Axel nails the axe hole on Truth for the win. After the match, Ryback tells the crowd to shut up and takes the mic. Still to come, Renee's interview with Roman Reigns. Back from the break, Renee is in the ring. She brings out Roman Reigns, and here he comes through the crowd. Renee then asks about the Money in the Bank match. This feels like a trap. Reigns asks Renee to take off her high heels because if something goes down, she's going to have to run real fast. Reigns says he doesn't care who's in the match. Look, Randy Orton. Reigns was asked how could he ever forget about Orton. Reigns called Orton the most spoiled little brat that WWE has ever had. Reigns said he's not here to hold Orton's hand or wipe his ass. He's here to kick it. When they asked about Kane next, Reigns says he's not like anybody else being scared of Kane. Reigns says he's ready to attack asses and attack. This is what he does. Triple H appears on the big screen and mocks Reigns. Triple H announces Reigns versus Kane for Smackdown. As the pyro goes off, Triple H sends Kane into the ring. Kane comes out in the brawl until Reigns sends him over the top rope. Kane stares back at Reigns when the rapper makes the ring explode with pyro. Reigns' music hits and they continue to stare down as main event goes off the air. Thanks to Perky, Benjamin Goldstein, and Bobby Zinowski. At Raz_34 for the following Smackdown spoilers for tonight's Pittsburgh taping. Seth Rollins, Randy Orton, and Triple H kick off Smackdown. They talk about Money in the Bank and announce the Badness Barret versus Dean Ambrose. Badness Barret comes out and tells the Pittsburgh sports teams and some of their legendary players. Dean Ambrose gets the win with the dirty knees. After the match, Jack Swagger runs out and attacks Barrett. Ambrose lays Swagger out with a ladder. Seth Rollins runs in for the crowd, throws Ambrose off the steps, and nails the curve stop. Barrett ended up being taken to the back after an apparent shoulder injury, and that apparently is where Barrett is injured. Page defeated Cameron after the match. Cameron tried to pick another fight with Page. Then they aired a video for Connor the Crusher. Sheamus versus Bray Wyatt is next. Sheamus won by disqualification when Eric Rowan and Luke Harper broke up a clover leaf that Bray was locked in. The Usos ran out to make the save and celebrated with Sheamus. Dolph Ziggler and Rob Van Dam tag team versus Cesaro and Alberto Del Rio with Paul Heyman on commentary. Del Rio gets the win for his team with a cross arm breaker on RVD after the match. Cesaro laid out Del Rio. Rusev and Lana come out for an anti-American promo before Rusev squashes Sin Cara. There's a glitch as Big E's video plays earlier than it's supposed to, but he comes out over Reigns versus Kane in a disqualification when Randy Orton interrupted right before Reigns speared Kane. Reigns spears Orton instead. Kane chokes out Reigns and set up a ladder. He allowed Orton to climb up and pose for the titles. Orton goes to punt Reigns, but got speared. Kane also got speared. Reigns poses with the titles in Smackdown. And there has been no dark match main event results for any of the results on the spoilers. So that closes my video out for this week, ending July 28th, I guess, for SmackDown. 25th? 27th is Friday. Well, thanks again. Peace out. God bless. See what might be. Well, if you didn't know, I think you better call me, bro.